Fresh from its launch, the Infinix GT30 Pro is arguably the brand's most capable budget gaming smartphone yet. It comes with all the features you'd want in a gaming phone. AMOLED display with high refresh rate, a powerful chipset but without the gaming phone tax. Best of all, it even comes with air triggers called GT triggers and even a gaming kit which features a MagSafe case and a MagSafe cooler. But how does it compare to another great budget gaming phone we tried out earlier this year? The Poco X7 Pro. Released around January 2025, this device also received praise for its powerful chipset and long battery life. Well, I'm Jose from Tech, and let's see how the Infinix GT30 Pro stacks up against the Poco X7 Pro in this comparison video. So let's get on with this video. Let's start with the design. Both phones clearly target different audiences when it comes to their styling. Starting with the Infinix GT30 Pro, it's clear this phone is aimed at the gamers. It sports an aggressive back panel design with LED lighting called mechanical light waves and a mech-like aesthetic. There's a rectangular camera module with green accents all around it, which further adds to the gamer vibe. The materials used aren't the most premium. You get a plastic back panel with a glossy finish and a plastic frame, but despite that, the phone feels sturdy in your hands. The LED lighting is fully customizable and can pulse to music, notifications, or can even be permanently turned on, which is a nice touch for those who enjoy a bit of flair. But of course, one of the best features of the GT30 Pro are the GT triggers. The GT triggers, or air triggers as they are usually called, are something you would normally find on high-end gaming phones and not on something at this price point. And when you're not playing games, because of course this is still a phone, the triggers can be used to activate apps like the camera. You can even use the triggers as a shutter when taking photos. And now moving over to the X7 Pro. The design is a lot more minimalist and sleek, similar to traditional smartphones. You get this two-tone finish back panel without any of the gamer aesthetics. This means it looks just like any phone. The camera island is also more subdued, which gives it a more cleaner look and feel. Unlike the GT30 Pro, this Poco does use a glass back paired with a metal frame, giving it a more premium feel overall. Now in terms of protection, the GT30 Pro is rated for IP64, while the X7 Pro comes with IP68 rating, so more protection for this phone. But overall, style is subjective, so whether you want the gamer vibe or a clean look is up to you. But there's no doubt that the GT triggers are amazing to have for a gaming phone of this price. With that, the Infinix GT30 Pro takes the first point in this comparison. But that's not to say the X7 Pro is a bad phone. Having IP68 at this price, very good. Now onto the display. Both phones offer vibrant screens, but they differ in some key ways. The Infinix GT30 Pro comes with a 6.78-inch AMOLED panel with full HD Plus resolution and a 144Hz refresh rate. That's a lot higher than the standard 120Hz refresh rate we find in most devices at this price point. It makes the animations and games feel extra smooth. It also supports HDR10 Plus for a more vivid and immersive visual experience. When outside, you can make use of up to 4,500 nits of peak brightness. This ensures you can see everything on the screen in almost all kinds of environments that you might be in. On the other hand, the Poco X7 Pro comes with a slightly smaller 6.67-inch display. However, it still uses a 1.5K AMOLED panel similar to the GT30 Pro, but this one only has a 120Hz refresh rate. While the refresh rate isn't as high as the Infinix, it does come with HDR10 Plus support in addition to Dolby Vision, which is only found on this phone. Both of the displays look great with deep blacks and vivid colors, offering a nice visual experience. They are well protected too, both phones having Corning Gorilla Glass 7i. However, in side-by-side comparisons, the Poco's display comes out slightly sharper and more vivid. The colors pop more, and you can see the difference between the two, especially if you're watching very colorful videos. When gaming though, the 144Hz refresh rate of the GT30 Pro helps make everything a lot smoother. Not to mention, you can have an advantage over your competition who might be using just a 90 or even a 120Hz display. Now as for the speakers, they're equally matched too. The GT30 Pro and the X7 Pro both have dual stereo speakers. The GT30 Pro speakers are tuned by JBL, but only the X7 Pro has support for Dolby Atmos. Despite that, they're both loud and have a decent soundstage out of the box. With that, it's hard to say one has an advantage over the other. So for this round, it's a tie between these two phones. Moving on to the cameras, both the Infinix GT30 Pro and the Poco X7 Pro do have dual rear cameras. They might have different specs, but the outputs are somewhat similar. The Infinix GT30 Pro is equipped with a 108 megapixel main shooter with PDAF and an 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera. There's also a 13 megapixel front camera for selfies. The 108 megapixel main takes some vivid and detailed photos in well-lit environments. They're sharp and have nice contrast too, with a good balance between the shadows and the highlights. However, the ultra-wide is a bit of a letdown since it isn't exactly the best. And also, don't try to shoot beyond 3x zoom or in low light either. If you do, you will immediately notice the drop in quality when the lighting conditions aren't the best. Meanwhile, the Poco X7 Pro comes with a 50 megapixel main shooter and an 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera. While it doesn't have the same megapixel count as the Infinix, the main camera does benefit from OIS in addition to PDAF, making it a lot easier to capture images and videos if you don't have steady hands. In daylight, both phones capture sharp images with decent color accuracy, although Poco shots do have a more moody feel to it with higher contrast as compared to the Infinix, which has a more natural tone. However, as with the case for both phones, there's also a drop in quality in low light or going beyond 3x zoom. For video, both phones can record up to 4K at 60 FPS, and the outputs are similar to the images we've seen. The Infinix does have stabilization available at 4K 60 FPS, while the Ultra Steady on the Poco is limited to just 1080p 30 FPS. To give you a better idea of how similar or different these two phones capture images, you can check out the montage here to see the differences for yourself. Considering the outputs are quite similar with just slight variations on how the phone processes the images, we would say it's a tie once again for this round. They're not exactly the best cameras for this price point, but they're decent and they work fine. Now for the performance. Both of these phones are no slouch. The Infinix GT30 Pro is powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 8350 Ultimate chipset, paired with up to 12GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. In comparison, the Poco X7 Pro uses the MediaTek Dimensity 8400 Ultimate, also paired with up to 12GB of RAM and up to 512GB of storage. Both chipsets are very capable of handling your day-to-day tasks without any issues whatsoever. But we are talking about gaming phones here, so let's focus more on that. Both phones handle light and graphic-intensive titles with ease. On both phones, Genshin Impact can be run on medium to high settings at 60 FPS, and you won't even get frame rate drops even in the most intensive battles. In Call of Duty Mobile, the graphics were set to the highest settings and the phones handle them without issues. So no matter which phones you choose, you will have a great gaming experience. Both phones do have slight heating issues, but it's more noticeable on the GT30 Pro. However, only the GT30 Pro is available with an external cooler similar to other gaming phones if you get the GT kit. Benchmark-wise, both phones score close on Antutu, with the X7 Pro taking the lead by a small margin. The gap is a bit bigger on the other benchmarks, but it's still pretty close. You can check them out on screen right now and see for yourself. Given how close they are in terms of real-world performance though, it's another tie for both phones. Battery life is one of the X7 Pro's strong suit. It comes with a 6000 mAh battery pack with 90-watt fast charging. During our time with the phone, it lasted us an entire day of use, and it still had some juice left afterwards. The PC Mark battery benchmark showed similar results with 15 hours and 2 minutes of battery runtime. In comparison, the Infinix GT30 Pro comes with a slightly larger than usual 5500 mAh battery and 45-watt fast charging. From our experience, the battery does drain rather quickly, but it's to be expected from a gaming phone. Using the same benchmark, it only lasted 8 hours and 48 minutes, which is nearly half of the X7 Pro's benchmark time. With that, the Poco X7 Pro takes its first point in this comparison. So, it's very much a tie between the Infinix GT 30 Pro and the Poco X7 Pro. It goes to show just how competitive the budget gaming phone segment has become. However, we have yet to talk about the price. In terms of pricing, the Infinix GT 30 Pro is the more affordable option, starting at 13,999 pesos for 8 plus 256GB variant and 15,999 pesos for the 12 plus 512GB variant. In comparison, the Poco X7 Pro starts at 16,999 pesos for the 8 plus 256GB variant, while the 12 plus 512GB variant retails for 19,999 pesos. That's a big price difference for similar performance values. Not to mention, the GT 30 Pro also comes with GT triggers which aren't found on the X7 Pro. With that, the Infinix GT 30 Pro comes out on top with its affordable price point. Not to mention, you can also get it with a GT kit which comes with a MagCharge cooler and a MagSafe case to enhance your gaming experience even further. But that's not to say the Poco X7 Pro is a bad phone though. It's just a bit more expensive than the Infinix for a minimal bump in performance, and you don't get GT triggers. But still, which one would you pick? The Infinix or the Poco? Whatever the case, share your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, do drop a like and subscribe to watch more. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And of course, visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. And of course, you can also check out our full reviews of both phones now live on the Yugatech website. Once again, this has been Jose, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!